Is back at it. Cool Dads Foundation is a non-profit organization that promotes positive fatherhood through active participation in a child's life as a dad. This time they are doing it with the Love Potion concert, which will raise funds to ensure that programs of the foundations continue. To talk more about this, we joined in studio by the founder of the Cool Dads Foundation, Bongani Luvalo. Bongani, thank you very much indeed for your time, and pleasure having you on the program. It's an important initiative. Let's get to know more about Cool Dads Foundation. I understand it promotes a culture of positive fatherhood. What is that?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers at home. The Cool Dads Foundation is a movement of young fathers. I know if you go through stats, they will tell you that the majority of kids in South Africa, they grow up without, fathers. We've got absent fathers. Now you've got deadbeat dads. I think everyone is now talking about that. Majority of us, we grow up without fathers, and we know the psychological impact that has. And we decided as a group of friends that we at least need to give our kids a different experience by ensuring that we are there in their day-to-day lives. We support them, we become their friends, we mentor them, so that at least they get to choose what they want to be without necessarily having to stress about a person or a father that actually decided to neglect them.
Look, I'm all for the happy couple getting married, living happily ever after, and they are happily married couples out there. But the reality is that the divorce rate, well, we know in 2016, according to Stats SA, there were over 25,000 divorces granted in South Africa. That's 2016. So this is a real problem, isn't it? So if you deduce from that, there's a lot of single parents. Not every couple has a child when they're married, but if you deduce, there's a lot of single parents out there.
Definitely. Unfortunately, it has become much of a popular culture where couples literally divorce. But in our foundation, we encourage both people who are still in their relationships and those who have separated. If you have separated, we've got to understand the fundamental principle is that the importance of a child having a healthy environment where they grow, it's paramount. If you've got your own differences as a couple, understand that once you have separated, the person that has got to be taken into consideration is the child. And the child has got to supersede your own interests, your own selfish interests. And also we've seen the culture where when a man has left a relationship, the woman thinks that if the man has not been a good partner, they would not necessarily be a good father. And we've got a number of cases where men would come and say, we need access to our own kids. I've separated with the mother of my child and have been maintaining my child in the midst of us having to separate, but the mother says I can't have access to the child. So we also assist them in our foundation. We've got a law clinic that we run with the Commission for Gender Equality, where we assist fathers to actually get parental plans, but also importantly, even before we even get to the court, to have that neutral and mutual relationship between the father and the mother of the child. So it's another relationship that we try to enhance, that when people have separated, they must not become enemies, because of once they become enemies, that actually affects how they parent the child.
From your experience in terms of the courts and the granting of custody of the child, are more fathers getting custody of their children?
Unfortunately, the justice system has not really transformed. A number of fathers would always give up when they've got to walk that path alone. I think before we even partnered with the Commission for Gender Equality, we could only advise you to go to the maintenance court or to go to the family court. And because they do not have support and backup, they would literally walk away from that. But we have seen a number of parental plans. I think last year, over 120 cases that we have handled, and a good 60 to 70 fathers were able to have parental plans. But now, if you flip the coin, a parental plan is a court order. Then you still have mothers who decide to be in breach of that parental plan. And we've had a conversation with some of the magistrates, and they would ask us a question, but if a person has breached the parental plan, do we go and arrest the mother? So that's another dialogue now that emanates. Yes, we've given you a parental plan. The mother still decides to do something opposite from the parental plan. And then when the justices go to kick in, like if I was to abuse my own child, abuse you or anyone in this place, I would be charged and I would be, brought into custody. But mothers are not brought into custody when they deny fathers or they actually failing to implement the parental plan. So it's still another dialogue that we've got to have with the justice system. But at least we've now seen fathers taking up their time to say, I cannot give up on my child, and they would go and access the courts and ask for a parental plan.
You're saying we're now seeing fathers standing up. You know, we've heard these terms, as you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, of deadbeat dads. Why now? What has changed over the years that fathers are saying, hey, you know what, let me do the right thing?
I think it's a different generation. We are a different generation, and we are more involved. Everything's about family, you know, and young fathers, because I think some of us we know the psychological impact of not having a father, so we want to play much more of an active role. But also it has become a culture that most fathers would actually talk about, that if you're not with your child, why are you not? You know, we've got to ensure that we're in that space where we spend time with our kids, whether you're going to the soccer game, you're going to church. So that culture of men having to go beyond what has been defined as a man, a person that provides, you know, financially, men are starting to be more involved, you know. But of course, society has not really accepted that kind of a culture. That's why in certain places it becomes much more of a struggle. And I think we've got to give space and appreciation with the little or the few that are doing an active role in their kids. We've got to pat them on the back, so that for us to see more fathers or young fathers stepping up and taking up their role, we've got to embrace the ones that are doing it, instead of always trying to bring the negative picture to say, yeah, these ones could be doing it, those who are part of Cool Dads could be doing it, but we still have these ones. Let's embrace the ones that are doing good, so that the ones who are not participating positively in their children's lives, they could actually see that there's something wrong about them.
Yeah. Look, let's look at Cool Dads as a foundation. Your mission statement looks excellent on paper. It looks great, but practically, how does it work? What sort of activities are there?
We've got 5 programmatic areas. I think I'll just give you the most important ones. The first one, we've got interactions. Many of us don't know how to spend time with our kids, so we're teaching each other how to spend time with our kids. We've got date nights, we've got picnics, we've got camps. Actually, right now, we're even saying we're going to have a program where fathers could have a movie night in a park. I think we're identifying some of the 2010 public viewing spaces that are no longer being used. So we've got programs that try to enhance the relationship between a father and a child. Then we've got an empowerment where we do seminars and workshops on different thematic issues, whether it be the finances, the education of your child, how you build a healthy family, the culture, the religion. So from time to time we decide which thematic issue we would want to tackle. We've got a Big Brother mentorship program where we've got 50 boys that we're mentoring. We meet with them once a month. We look at things like life skills, career guidance, you know, exposure, you know, so that they become better human beings to tomorrow. We know there are high levels of gender-based violence, and everyone keeps on talking to a girl or a woman as if they're the ones who are abusing themselves. And somebody forgets that we've got to nurture a young boy to be responsible, to understand that how do we coexist in society between males and females. So that program simply tries to, you know, build a boy child so that tomorrow they become responsible men. We also have a program that seeks to assist an unemployed father. We've got a toy and clothing bank where we encourage people to give toys that their kids no longer use, clothes that their kids no longer wear, so that when we've got these activities, unemployed fathers can at least, you know, shop for those clothes at no fee and be able to...
Whereabout is this? Is this only in Gauteng? Or?
For now in Gauteng, as and when we do our picnics, we do our family fun fiesta, we do any gathering that we do would have some of those clothes. And at some point in time, we're also doing a school shoe drive and uniform, and we're taking those to schools where kids do not have decent shoes to actually walk to school. And the last one that we focus on is advocacy and lobbying for the rights of fathers, but most importantly for the well-being of a child. Yeah,
it's excellent work that you're doing, and obviously there's a real need, especially here in South Africa, to do this. You've been around for since 2012?
Since 2012.
Since 2012. So tell us about some of the success stories you've had.
We've got, as I said, I think in our media statement we did indicate that we've got 50 boys. These are the boys who were identified through Department of Education, child-headed households. They are problematic at school, they do not attend school regularly, and as and when we intervened with our program, some of them, actually the first batch, about 14 actually matriculated last year, because of when we started the program they were actually in grade 9. Beyond that, we have assisted tons, more than 200 fathers to actually go to the maintenance court, family court, where we actually help them to actually get parental plans, but also see how best do we intervene in the relationship between the mother and the child. And we we've seen more fathers through our Facebook pages and social media sharing the activities that they do with their kids, because of it's no longer that thing of you're only celebrating with your child on Christmas or on their birthday, but we see more and more fathers talking about their relationships with their kids and doing activities with their kids. But some of these things are threatened by the resources.
Right.
Of course, we're an NGO. In most times, we are looking for resources and sponsorships and partnerships, but the donor funding, keeps on, shrinking each and every year, to a point where last year we were nearly about to close the offices because of we did not have money to do programs. On average, on the Big Brother mentorship program, at least a minimum of 23,000 rands has got to be spent just to ensure that the boys are transported from home into the activity, they are fed, they are given a program, and they are taken back.
23,000
on average
a month?
On that particular Saturday when we have got to host them for a program, whether we've invited Love Life or any other life skills institution, for us to transport them from their homes, whether we're going to a hall or we're going to a park, that activity of transporting them from different places, ensuring that they are fed and they are delivered back at their homes, that exercise just a minimum of 23,000 rands. Looking at 10 months, at least you have got to have at least 250,000 rands just to look at this one individual program. So those have been some of our challenges in the past 2 years. So and even our work actually started to lag, and we thought, what could be the most creative way of ensuring that we do not close doors? And actually in our offices we've got 9 employees. In that we've got 4 full-time employees, and we've got 5 interns. So in the midst of us closing offices, not only are we looking at the fathers and the kids who are going to be indirectly disadvantaged, also you're going to be having 9 young people who are going to be taken back home, who will also be part of the statistics of unemployed young people.
So doing good is costly.
It is costly.
You've got something called, is the Love Potion?
Love Potion
Concert?
It's
Tell us about that.
Yes, we are trying to fundraise, as I was indicating, that because of we can't get money directly, so we decided what could be the best way of raising funds. So we partnered up with Sun International Carnival City. They said they will sponsor us with a venue. We are hosting a concert on the 14th of February. We're having Sjava, Amanda Black, Mlindo, and Tandom Gomezulu. They'll be performing at 7 o'clock. I think everybody on that day would be celebrating love, Valentine. So we're hosting that concert to celebrate love, not only love between partners, but generally how do we explicitly express love amongst each other. So the tickets are going for 200 rands up until 400 rands, and would appreciate even those who are far away from Carnival City, if you will not be able to arrive on that particular day, just go to CompuTicket, buy the ticket as a donation. You don't necessarily have to be there physically, but the more people are there, the better. But those who are outside of Ekurhuleni or outside of Gauteng and don't think they will make it there, would really appreciate if they just buy the ticket as a contribution to the cause.
If people missed the details now, do you have a website, or are you on Twitter or social media?
On Facebook and Twitter, I am a Cool Dads. We also have got a website, cooldadsfoundation.co.za, but also they can contact us in the office 011-737-1076.
All right. Luvalo, you guys, you and your foundation are doing a great job. Thank you very much indeed for coming in and telling us a bit about all of this, and we wish you all the luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for coming. That was the founder of Cool Dads Foundation, Bongani Luvalo.